What's up, Juventus? We got a lot to talk about. The Pogba counter analysis is today. We've got the details on what's to come after that. Del Piero to Saudi Arabia. We're going to squash that one today immediately. Ronaldo, the missing payment case. Okay, and where that stands, we should know very, very soon. Allegri tweaking things in training again, trying out a 4-4-2 this time. A great Federico Chiesa interview, and management's plan for Juventus moving forward in the future starting to come to light. Do we have some light at the end of the tunnel to look forward to in terms of change and maybe rediscovering Juventus? We're going to take a look at all that right now. This is the AJC. I'm Alberto. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's rock. We're going to kick things off with the Del Piero rumors we got yesterday of him being very close to becoming sporting director at Al Nassr, the Saudi Arabian club. And today, Squash saying no, absolutely no truth to it. It's funny because I was asked by certain members in the HAC Army in our group chat saying, hey, is there any weight to this? And I said, I would think absolutely not. Number one, from the weak source that came out with it. Number two, we know he's enrolled in the UEFA coaching license course, and that's the highest level before taking on any jobs as far as coaching. I would think that's his next role. The only way I see that changing is some type of office role at Juventus, but we know that that was kind of looked at during the summer and nothing really came from it, all right? So for me, I think coaching is next in line for Del Piero. That's just what I think. Now, we've got Ronaldo and the missing payments case. We should get the final sentencing within the next 30 days, all right? And Juve yesterday essentially defended themselves, saying that the request is without foundation, as they have in hand a release signed by Cristiano Ronaldo that basically states there is nothing owing or nothing outstanding, all right? So Ronaldo's lawyers continue to fight, saying that there is a pact that is broken, but Juventus says there is nothing that has any type of foundation to it. And here are the documents with the release signed by Ronaldo himself. So we should be cleared of that one. Obviously, Ronaldo and his lawyers could still take it further to task, but I doubt that is going to happen, to be honest. Pogba today, counter analysis, and we essentially wait. If positive, then Pogba would have a fight on his hands to fight whether or not the use was intentional, all right? If it is clear, he still would face a suspension, in which he could also still appeal that one. As far as Juventus goes, again, waiting in limbo to see what develops. But what's interesting here is that Juve is about a few weeks away from the growth decree kicking in on Paul Pogba's wages, which would then be the tax break. It is said that regardless of which route this goes in terms of results, Juve would still not terminate anything with Paul until that growth decree kicks in, and then they would look to break free. It's going to be interesting to see what develops here, but we could have the results from the counter analysis within the next 72 hours, all right? So that's step one, and that's what we were waiting for, okay? Now, management's plan. Are things starting to come to light circulating around Juventus? I think there's been little tidbits of news here and there over the past couple of days that maybe haven't been highlighted enough, and for me, it actually is a positive, because we are starting to see the game plan there. We ultimately always go back to what happens on the pitch, and the performances as of late over the past week leave us with a lot of question marks around the team's mentality, criticisms of the coach, criticisms of the players themselves. And it's right to do so. It's fine to do so. It's natural in parts of being a fan, okay, of any club. Now, as far as looking at these subtle little details that are going on in the news and in the background and whatnot, I think we should look at some of the positives, okay? So number one, we have drastically cut down the debt to negative 115 million euros, okay? That's massive. Giuntoli speaks about being potentially active in January if the opportunities arise, but they are still keeping in mind sustainability, all right? And this is big. This is what we got away from before, is the sustainability. And now that being at the forefront will help us moving forward. Yesterday, we got the news about potentially on this Friday, capital gains increase being approved. This would be big as well, okay? Posturing up for not just January, but potentially the summer. This is big, all right? Now, Mirko Di Natale brings to us what could be happening with the youth, okay, and Juventus next gen. Well, he says 2 to 3 players probably being promoted each year from next gen. And not only that, we're seeing Juventus lock these young players up contractually, not just based on them wanting to be integrated at Juventus, but to protect Juventus for future sales and maximizing the sales. So yes, while we're excited about a lot of young players and we have a plethora of talent, I always said what was going to come is you're not going to be able to keep them all around. So some of these guys are going to be bargaining chips. What's great is that management has said Juventus is not basically killing any concerns that we are going to become a selling club, in stating that Juve is never going to get away from trying to draw in high level talent. Okay, so it's very clear what is going on here, and we are going to have some patience, but it is definitely right, the finances. Okay, they have basically acknowledged that the quality of the roster needs to be brought up. High level talent. Get back to finding and luring and attracting high level talent, supplementing it with the great young players and the great work that's taken place through Juve Next Gen. And not only that, but be able to also bring in extra revenue with that young talent. So the plan is all there. The blueprint is all there, and it actually looks and sounds great. We just have to get there, and still we have some shackles in place. Okay, so ultimately bring up your resources. Gotta hit top 4. Keep picking away at the debt, okay, and keep working diligently in the mercado. Eventually, we will have the finances rolling, not working always in a constant negative like we were before. And then once the shackles are off, I think we'll really see Giuntoli cook at Juventus, okay? But I think that is a positive, that everything is moving according to plan in the right direction. As far as Juventus and a sale go, all right, as far as selling Juventus, I always said I can't see it being an outright sale. And we're literally celebrating the 100th year of ownership with the Agnelli family and Juventus. Okay, a story unique to only Juventus as far as being owned by one family for that period of time. Not only that, okay, but this week coming up, there is a big celebration in Turin. That's why, and I showed you in a YouTube short, we were seeing jerseys being printed of Del Piero and Zidane. There's a charity match that is also involved there. You should look for those players to play, so Del Piero and Zidane being reunited again. But there's a big celebration for the 100th year of Agnelli ownership with Juventus coming up this week. I'm hoping to try and bring you some exclusive footage from it. All right, now as far as ownership goes, I could see a partial sale. That is very much still going on in the background, and we could still see benefits of that with an influx of funds coming from the new partner. All right, so that I would not rule out, but as far as selling outright, I can't see it happening. All right, but that's the latest with management and the plan. I think we should acknowledge the good and the positives coming. We just have to be a little more patient, all right? A little more patient. As far as everything else, performance-wise, the pitch and the coaching and everything, I think they're very much aware of what's going on, but we know we have to right the wrongs, and we were set back several years with the way we were doing business previously. We just have to have a little bit of patience. But in the meantime, let's hope the team gets it right on the pitch. And on the pitch, Max Allegri in training yesterday, trying out the 4-4-2. Weah was back in his position on the outside right. Milik was up top, partnering Chiesa. As far as the statuses goes, Kostic is back, returned with the group for training this today. But Vlahovic, still very much a doubt for the Derby della Mola, okay? With a victory in this one, Max would actually pass the great Trapattoni with most Derby victories at 13, okay? Hopefully he gets that, okay? We got to win this one. Chiesa, wrapping things up on a great interview that Federico Chiesa had. Our boy Lou tackling it for us. You can follow it all on Twitter or X now, okay, where we broke down the entire interview. But he had a lot of good stuff to say. As far as how he's doing, he says, I'm fine. I'm at the point I don't even want to hear the word recovery anymore. As far as issues with the role of second striker, he said no issues. This is mostly just created from perceptions outside of the club, but he has no problem with the role. As far as any issues with Allegri, Absolutely not. He says, I get along with everybody, okay? In terms of the penalty points last year, he says for him, it was a problem and he can't understand why they wouldn't just deal with everything at season's end. However, he said it created this revenge aspect this season that everybody's fueled, and through last season, they created this atmosphere where they wanted to fight everyone, not just opponents, but all external factors as well. Amici di nessuno, everybody. Amici di nessuno. You could say it, Fede. It's okay. All right. As far as offers from England goes, he said the only voice I heard was Giuntoli's through the summer, and we thought preparing best for this season was the best for all parties involved. And the goal for this year, he says, is top 4. As far as talking Scudetto, far too early. Let's wait to see where we're at in March, okay? Again, follow us on our socials on Instagram or Twitter to see the interview in full. All right, great interview from Federico Chiesa. And that wraps up our news break. You guys, you know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about everything you heard, all right? Are you willing to see the patient? You see the plan coming from management, all right? Let me know. I think it's okay in the long run. I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to return to the Juventus of old. We just have to have that patience. But I like the way things are shaping up. And the big clubs kind of follow this plan that we are starting to move into. All right? So I like it. But I can't wait to hear from all of you. Let's mix it up in the comment section, all right? And I'll be back tomorrow with another daily update video. As always, no matter what, fino alla fine, forza Juve. Ciao tutti.